Thank you all for joining us here today. This is an information session for the AARP Experience Core Achieve Pinnell reading program. And we are very happy that I'm going to adjust here a little bit. There we go. And we're very, very happy that you're interested in the program. The program is an absolutely wonderful program. And I'm glad you're all here today. My name is Jerry Stabley, and I am the chair of our advisory board for the program here. And we're located in Pinal County, Arizona, which is between Metro Tucson and Metro Phoenix. And we have a bit of a slideshow to go through. I'm also a tutor, by the way, so I'm also a tutor. And so I know what it's like to be a tutor as well. So we're going to go through a bit of a slideshow here today, and we'll talk about we'll describe the program to you. Again, thank you for joining us here today, and we wanted to describe a little bit about our program to you. First of all, again, my name is Jerry Stabley. I'm joined today by Patty. You saw her helping me with her technology here. Thank you, Patty. And
hi, everybody.
And a little bit about our program here. Experience Core is an evidence-based volunteer-supported literacy program. So we're helping children become great readers by the end, and while enriching the lives of our volunteers. That's one of the things that is very interesting about the program is the improvement to the lives of our volunteers. The fact that they make new friends, they get to feel a sense of accomplishment. I tutored in the city of Phoenix and in a school district in Phoenix. Last time I tutored up there was probably now 4 years ago. And I still get together with the folks that I tutored with for lunch every month. We get together and have lunch together. So you create new bonds that you really hadn't anticipated. So we recruit, we screen, we train, and we support adult volunteers who are 50 years or older. If you're a little bit younger than that, we can accommodate that. So don't turn off the program just because you're not yet 50 years old. If you're younger, we can work with you. Let us know, and we can work with you. So we target schools that have the highest needs in our community, and we work with second and third graders. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. We work with second and third graders. Our goal is to have people being able to read by the end of third grade, but so we work with second and third graders. And we have a very structured, evidence-based model that improves the overall reading ability of students by building their fluency. And fluency simply means reading at the pace that you speak. And what studies have found that if students are able to read at the pace at which they normally speak, that the comprehension and cutting down on the number of mistakes they make really follows the ability to read at a normal pace. And why do we focus on reading? It's interesting that children first learn how to read, then they read to learn. And I'm hearing this from educators from all walks of life, math teachers, science. It doesn't matter. They all assure me that reading is really the most important thing to any kind of academic pursuit that you might have, and that reading by the end of third grade is the crucial milestone in a child's future success. Children who cannot read well by the end of third grade, they're 4 times more likely to leave school without a diploma. And what that means is then it'll be very difficult for them to get further job training, to really qualify for the great jobs that are out there in the 21st century, or to go even to college will be much more difficult without that diploma. Also, if they cannot read well by the end of third grade, they're prone to engage in behaviors such as truancy and aggression. I had a student, and I'll talk a little bit more about her as we go along, but I had a student who was very bright but just couldn't read, and she missed quite a bit of school. For our sessions, she would hide in the bathroom because she knew she couldn't read, and she could see other people in her class. She was starting second grade. She could see they could read, but she couldn't read. And so it made her act out in class and led to all sorts of problems. We'll talk about her a little bit more as we go along. So why does Pinal County need a reading program? Again, we tutor here in Pinal County, Arizona, but we do it in person and remotely. So you can tutor if you live here in Pinal County, again, between Metro Phoenix and Metro Tucson. You can tutor in person, or you can tutor online. So you can sit in your living room on your computer and tutor a student. And being there in person is the very best, no question about it. But being online is also very, very effective. And so you create a bond. We had a superintendent at our elementary school district, and our program during COVID had to be all online. And at the end of the school year, she was walking around watching our tutoring sessions, and she was very surprised with the bond that had been created by that tutor, between the tutor and the student. And they never met in person. They never met in person until the very end of the year. So you do create that bond and are able to help those students if you're doing it again here in person, or from the comfort of your living room. So there's intergenerational benefits to this program. Students have greater success in school, graduate from high school, and again, more open to post-secondary degrees and certificates. And I believe that part of the intergenerational benefits is the fact that our students today, they're second and third graders. Sometime in the not too distant future, they're going to get married, they're going to start families. And if they have good earning capacity because of their ability to read and the studies that they had in school, and maybe some training after school, they're going to be much more able to support their family, to support their spouses, to help support the family and the children, and lead to a better life, a much richer life for their family. Pinal County has a bright economic future. We have many new industries locating. We're getting a spillover effect from Phoenix these days. So we build Lucid cars. If you've heard about Lucid cars, the only place that they are built is right here in Casa Grande, which is in Pinal County, which is one of the largest communities in Pinal County. Excuse me. And good paying jobs in the future will require reading and analysis skills. I grew up in a manufacturing town and worked in the summers in manufacturing, and would make parts for a week. I'd make the same part, and 10,000 of them for an entire week. Manufacturing jobs are very, very different today, because you're managing the machines that are doing the work, and so you're programming, you're fixing, you're in charge of that program. For example, in my hometown, again, there's a Harley-Davidson plant, and those beautiful paint jobs on those gas tanks are done by somebody entering information into a computer, and then a spray gun controlled by the computer then sprays the gas tank. So there's nobody touching that spray device. We have a progress meter in Arizona that talks about third grade reading, and the goal for the state is to have 72% of students reading at grade level. Currently at the state, it's only 44%, and in Pinal County, it's less than that. And remember that being able to read by the end of third grade is really the crucial milestone in a child's future success. So we are one of 26 programs operating in the United States. There's over 2,000 volunteers in the program. So this is a program that has been set up by AARP. They control the training. They give us the books that we use, et cetera, et cetera. Arizona has 4 programs. The first one in Arizona, the first one in the United States, was in Tempe. That's been in operation since 2006. Phoenix has been in operation for 2014, and Mesa, which is a suburb of Phoenix, is launching their program in just this year. In a couple months, they'll be launching their program. So we were the 3rd program in the entire state of Arizona. So we are beginning in fall. We actually began our program in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, and we had to do it remotely to start with. But we are looking to serve 10 Pinal County school districts. And Pinal County, just as a frame of reference, we have very large counties in Arizona, and there's only 15 of them here in the state. It's a large state. Anyway, Pinal County is actually a little bit larger than the state of Connecticut. So not nearly as many people for sure, but a very large geographical area. And we are looking to have 250 volunteers in the program to serve 750 students. And that's why we will need people who don't live in Pinal County or maybe not even in Arizona to help us with this program, to tutor remotely. And that's why we're reaching out to people all across the United States to see if you can help us in our mission here. We have a partnership. Our host is the city of Casa Grande. We've been working with the Casa Grande Elementary School District. This will be our 4th year with Casa Grande. Last year, we started with Coolidge and with Stanfield school districts. And the AARP Foundation Experience Corps is very important to us as well. We're part of what we call Achieve Pinal, which is a grassroots effort that looks to improve educational attainment, knowing that education is extraordinarily important for the workforce that we need to build here in our county and build the quality of life that we would like to have in our county. So again, we are looking at early literacy skills. We actually are, we should update this, that it shows 1st through 3rd grade. The program does serve 1st graders, but we found that it's really most effective with 2nd and 3rd graders. So we focus on 2nd and 3rd graders. 1st graders are just a little bit young for this program in particular. And as I mentioned before, we place our volunteer tutors in high needs schools. The students we served are considered to be at risk and tested below benchmark standards. Now, these are students, not students necessarily that need special education. They're really mainstream students that are on the cusp of being able to read but not yet there. And the student I mentioned before, when we started, she was reading at 6 words per minute. And so her reading was a tap, and it's one of our books, Tap and Pat, Tap and Pat. And by the end of that school year, she was reading 75 words per minute. So the impact you can make in a child's life is fantastic, because I know that she will now take off in anything that she does. Now that she has the ability to read, she's going to take off. She's very intelligent, very creative, great imagination. I told her, you could be a writer. And she actually, while I was reading to her at the end of the session, we actually read to them, she was actually writing a story and asking me how I spell different words. And we work with reading coaches. We work with the staff of the schools to determine who should be a part of the program. So every tutor is assigned 4 students, and we work with each child individually for 30 minutes each day. So it's either a Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. And there are some slots we have that are in the morning, some slots that are in the afternoon. It really depends on the school schedules. And so you meet with them twice weekly. And so you're tutoring for 4 hours. We say a 5-hour commitment only because tutors typically come in and do a little bit of prep work before they start tutoring. And then they do some, they do cleanup work then, making sure everything's arranged at the end of their session. So approximately 5 hours each week. And as I mentioned, we focus on fluency and then accuracy. And we look to help these children meet or exceed the reading benchmarks. And the tutors provided training, materials, and support throughout the process. Just to show you what the session would be like, opening activities, talking about their weekend, kind of catching up with if they read anything over the weekend, maybe not. And then we get into skill building activities, which is really the main part of it. We work with fluency, as I mentioned, and the way we do that is we have various word games we play with them. We first read a sentence to them, they read the sentence back to us, and then we have various games. One example is where we read a sentence and leave out a word and have them fill in the word. So they're looking at the book as well, and they're going to fill in that word. And then they do it. Then they read and we fill in the word. So it puts them in charge as well, which they really enjoy. They don't really get, at that young age, they don't get really a chance to be kind of in charge of what an adult is doing. So that's a good thing for them. So we could take a couple minutes after that is done to talk about what they learned. And then we have the tutor read aloud. I mentioned that before, where we have a variety of books. Captain Underpants, Dr. Seuss, I mean, you name it. A lot of fun books. We also get into some books about bullying. A lot of children, of course, face bullying in school, and these books help them deal with that. Some students, upon hearing these bullying books, admit that they at one time were a bully, and that's always very interesting to hear. To hear them, understand that about themselves. Closing activities then is really just taking them back to their classroom, and often you can chat with them a little bit more and talk to them about what they read that day. So materials are everything that you need is going to be provided to you. The workbooks, and the workbooks are books that are very simple. They're about 15 pages, folded over, stapled, but they are in color. And the simplicity of the book kind of belies the pride that the children take in those books. The fact that they mastered this book is very, very important to the students and hopefully to their parents when they get home. Certainly important to the tutors. So, and those are the A to Z leveled books that is shown here. A to Z doesn't mean Arizona. It's the letter A through letter Z leveled, so they can read all the way. They start with level A all the way up to level Z. Session log folders, the tutor read aloud books, as I mentioned before, will all be available to you in the place where you're tutoring, or you will have, if you're doing it online, there will be digital versions of all those. And working with students, just some pictures of working with students. They, again, you create a strong bond between you and the students. Often they, at the end of the school year, they're often very, very sad that they're not going to be able to spend more time with you. One of our students wrote to one of our tutors, "I wish you were my grandma." So you do create a strong bond with the kids, and it's amazing the things that they talk about, that they share with you. It's not an easy program to get into. I will warn you at the very beginning, but it is most certainly worth it. We ask you to complete an application. We ask that you do an interview, and that would be just with our staff. We have to fingerprint everybody, and we do check your references and do a background check because we need to protect the safety of our students. So that's why we go through all that. We ask people to commit to the entire school year, typically September, October through the end of April. Now, knowing that people who are 50 plus often have medical appointments they have to take care of, or they want to travel, which I understand completely. And that's one of the things that we work very hard to do is to be able to have substitutes to be able to come in and work with people who are going to be out of the office for a while. And as I mentioned before, we're looking at 4 to 5 hours weekly, divided into 2 days. We do have monthly meetings at the individual school. We also have training, very good, very strong training. That's one of the things maybe is emphasized here, is that it doesn't matter what your walk of life is. You will get the training you need to be a very, very effective tutor. So whatever you're doing in life, whatever you've done in life, it doesn't matter. You're going to be able to be a very effective tutor after you go through the training that is offered. And what you can expect from us is comprehensive training and site orientation, meaning the place that you're tutoring at, is how to get there, where to park, et cetera, et cetera. On-site support from staff, and feedback and skill development as you go along. New volunteers do spend 2 full days of training in our structured curriculum prior to tutoring. Part of that is online, and part of that is in person. Now, if you're not in Arizona, we'll find a way to, of course, make that work for you wherever you are. And participate in a 1-day follow-up training after working in the school for a few weeks, just to kind of see how everything's going, and if you found anything that you found hard to implement, and how we can work through it. I talked about substitutes. We again look to have substitutes for people who have times that they can't be in school. Designated schools and schedules. We as I mentioned, we focus on schools where the need is the greatest, and we work with then the school to see what kind of schedule works for them. What time is set aside for them to work on reading skills in the classroom, and so to be able to take the students away from the classroom to do our focused work while they're doing the general work with the other students in the classroom. And I mentioned that you'll have training and orientation, etc. And absence and sick days we talked about as well. So next step is please complete your application. It is not an easy application, but please bear with it, and please let us know if you're having trouble with the application. We can help you get through it. We do the interviews, we do the reference and background checks. And once that's all done, you'll be invited to tutor. Again, you do 2 days of training. Fingerprinting, again, by the Department of Public Safety, or you can go to private companies and do it. If you go to a private company, we will pay for the fingerprinting, no doubt about it. And then you start tutoring. And this is our reward. And this is the one, I didn't know if this was in here, where the young student says that at the very bottom, I wish you were my grandma. So I miss you already at the end of the school year. So I've received things like this. It is very touching, very touching. And with that, I will say thank you again for your interest. And then as part of this video, we will also have contact information at the end where you can contact us and say, hey, I would like to explore this further. I'd like to talk to somebody about that. And we certainly welcome that. So again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your interest. Sorry about the glitch, but I think it all worked out all right. So thank you again.